Hello everyone, hope you're all well. Before I continue on my Legend series, I wanted to just make a correction. Yesterday I said that Michael Atherton was dismissed most by Curtly Ambrose 17 times. Actually, he was dismissed most by Glenn McGrath. It was 19 times, two more times than Curtly Ambrose. So please, I just want to make that correction. From a bowling point of view, I mean, Ambrose's most dismissal was 17, Michael Atherton, but the other way it wasn't. Michael Atherton was dismissed 19 times by Glenn McGrath. So please make that change. I'm sorry for that mistake as well. Today, I wanted to talk about someone that I've been saying a lot in different videos, and one of the most stylish, elegant, classiest batsmen of all time, and someone who was an excellent slip fielder as well, and who could bowl part-time off spinners, and who looked very casual in everything he did, but extremely stylish. I'm talking about Mark Waugh of Australia. His full name was Mark Edward Waugh, and he was born June 2nd, 1965, in New South Wales in Australia. And Test cricket, he played 128 matches, and he scored 8,029 runs, and he scored his average was 41.81, and he scored 20 hundreds as well, and his highest was 153 not out. He also took 59 wickets as an off spinner, and he held 181 catches, which was a world record at that time, most catches by a non-wicket keeper. And in one day cricket, he played 244 matches, and he scored 8,500 runs at an average of almost 40, and he scored 1800s, and his highest was 173. He took 85 wickets in one day cricket as well, and he also held 109 catches. And in first class cricket, he scored almost 27,000 runs at an average of about 52, which was excellent, and also scored 81 hundreds. And he also took 208 wickets with his off spinners. And Mark Waugh was one of the greatest stylish batsmen of all time. I mean, he was very casual the way he batted, bowled, fielded, but he was just excellent with everything he did. And he was a blockbuster player. I mean, everyone loved watching Mark Waugh. And as everyone knows, he is the twin brother of Steve Waugh. He's just a few minutes younger than Steve Waugh. And Marco's nickname was also Junior. That's how the Australian players used to call him. I mean, Junior being junior to Steve Waugh. And Marco was really excellent as a batsman. I mean, before his before his Test debut in the early 90s, there was a tour match against West Indies, and he scored 103 not out. And Sir Vivian Richards was the captain of West Indies at that time, and he had a lot of praise for Marco, and he said he was a very talented player. So that was a big thing that happened to Marco. And Marco made his Test debut in 1991 against England in the fourth Test at Adelaide, and it came at the cost of his brother Steve Waugh. Steve Waugh was dropped, and Marco was picked for the team, and he scored 138 runs, 139 runs, and it came at a very crucial stage as well. I mean, Australia was struggling at 102 for 4, and then 126 for 5, and Marco came and he scored that excellent 100. So that was a very good debut, and he was the 15th Australian to make a Test century on debut as well. And Marco was also an amazing fielder, by the way, let me say it. I mean, he was a second slip specialist fielder for the fast bowlers. And after Mark Taylor retired, I mean, he also he was a first slip fielder to the spinners as well. Before that, Mark Taylor was always the first slip fielder to spinners. He took so many catches for Glenn McGrath and Shane Warne, and he was an excellent slip fielder. I mean, he looked so casual when he took some of the most difficult catches. He was blessed as a slip fielder, was an excellent fielder. Even Mark Taylor was an excellent slip fielder. And in the tour of West Indies in 91 tour of West Indies in Jamaica, I mean, he fell down after being hit by a bouncer from Courtney Walsh. It was a 2 match against Jamaica, but he still went on to score a century. So that was a commendable achievement at a young age. And in the fifth Test match at Antigua against West Indies, he scored 138 as well. And he had a very good series with the bat. I mean, he scored 367 runs in that Test series at an average of more than 61. And he also took 8 wickets as a bowler. And he was the best Australian batsman in that series with the number of runs he scored. And by the way, before I continue, I have to say, I mean, Marco's best innings came against South Africa in 98 series in South Africa. It was a blockbuster test series when both teams were like at the really playing excellent cricket. The first test, Australia had won in Joburg by a big margin. And the second test match was played at St. George's Park, Port Elizabeth. It was a very seamer-friendly wicket. And South Africa scored 209 in the first innings. And Australia were bowled out for just 108 runs in the first innings, and South Africa had a big lead, or considering the wicket as well. And in the fourth innings, Australia had to chase a 270, which would have been the highest score in the match, which is a rare occasion. I'm saying rare occasion because the team batting fourth, Australia won, and Marco scored a magical 116. And Alan Donald had always said that he had never bowled faster than that, and it was a really fast bowlers pitch as well. I mean, South Australia were bowled out for 108. I mean, so for the highest score before that in that innings was 209, South Africa's first innings. So chasing 270, which was the highest score or highest total in that match, any innings. I mean, that was a very commendable achievement, and that doesn't really happen that often. I mean, to chase the highest total in the fourth innings. I mean, his 116 was excellent. And he also did that in 97-98 when South Africa went to Australia. I mean, that was the first test in Melbourne where Jack Ellis got his first 100 and he drew the match for South Africa. And the second test match was Australia won in Sydney. That's where Shane Warne took his 300th test wicket, and Australia were leading 1-0. And the third match, final test match, was at Adelaide, and South Africa has scored 500 plus. And Australia batting last. I mean, Sean Pollock took 7 wickets in one of the innings as well, and Australia was struggling to draw the match. I mean, if Australia had lost, I mean, South Africa would have leveled the test series, but Marco scored 117 not out, and he helped Australia to draw the match, which was like a series winning effort, because if Australia had won, it would have been 1-1, but Australia went on to win 1-0. And that match in Port Elizabeth that I'm saying, when he scored 116, Australia won by 2 wickets as well. So it was a very close match. So match-winning knock by Marco, and again in Adelaide as well. So Marco always had this habit of scoring big runs. And in the World Cup 1996, Marco had an excellent series. I mean, in the first match against Kenya, he scored 100 and he put on a 207-run partnership with his brother Steve Waugh. And that was a first double century partnership in World Cup history as well. And in the second match, the next match, he scored 126 against India at Bombay. And that was the first time that any player had scored consecutive centuries in the World Cup competition. And when India were batting, Tendulkar was going really well, and 90, and Marco took Tendulkar's wicket as well. And in both the matches against Kenya and against India, Marco was the man of the match. And even in the quarterfinals against New Zealand, when Australia were chasing a high 260-270 score, Marco scored 110, and he actually won the match for Australia, the quarterfinals. So he actually scored 300s in that World Cup. And in total, he had scored 484 runs at an average of more than 81 in that World Cup, 1996 World Cup, with an excellent strike rate of almost 85 plus as well. So, and also bowling his off spinners as well. So Marco had an excellent 96 World Cup as well. So I mean, and a lot of things to say. And he was a national selector, I mean, after his retirement, and he is a commentator now. He does commentate a lot, especially Big Bash as well. And Marco is regarded as someone who was excellent. I mean, really, really good. I mean, he was classy, and I have to say, I mean, his flick shots were really beautiful to watch, especially being a non-Asian. Normally, you expect Asian players from the Asian subcontinent to be very good flickers of the legs, but Marco was extremely, extremely good off the legs, and he looked very, very stylish when he used to flick the ball, play the glance on the leg side. I mean, even his cover drives were really good. I mean, his cover drives, square cuts, pull shots. I mean, every shot that Marco played, he batted with a lot of ease. I mean, when you say effortless, that's exactly what Marco was. He was elegance style personified. I mean, he was just amazing. And he scored a lot of runs against a lot of teams. And when Marco put his mind into his batting, I mean, he was really difficult to get out because he was naturally so talented, a lot of flair about him. more flair than Steve Waugh, his brother, who accomplished more than him. But when Marco really batted with purpose, it was difficult to get him out. So that is my video on Marcos, the things that I have to say. I hope I haven't missed. And he's someone. So by the way, he's something personal about him. He loves his horse betting as well. He loves betting. I mean, even Ricky Ponting, his nickname is a punter. So Marco, Ricky Ponting, they always had this talk between them. And Shane Warne, they were all very close. And Marco is also a big fan of Sir Vivian Richards. Every time Vivian Richards comes into the commentary box when they do the big bash, you can hear them talk about it. So Marco, I mean, scoring a lot of runs for Australia. I mean, and he was one of the most stylish, elegant players of all time. And taking a lot, he was a very more than a useful off spinner as well, and an excellent slip fielder. Like I said, he was a second slip fielder, and that 181 catches that he held in Test cricket was a world record for a non-wicket keeper for a long time. He was the whole world record holder for the catches at that point, not now. So that is my video on Marco, one of the most stylish batsmen of all time. I hope you have enjoyed this video. Please take care. God bless you.